Shout out to the monkey gang, the great apes. At the club swinging, they asking for my singing. She peeling the banana backstage. What a feeling, what a feeling. Monkey gang chilling. What a feeling, king of the top villain.
Hey everybody, Fiction Ape here. So this is gonna be a different kind of video on a different kind of media because I am Fiction Ape, but I just ended up being manga and anime ape for a while. As you've probably seen by the title and the thumbnail, this is my thoughts on WandaVision, and I'm joined here with one of my best friends, Alex. Say hello.
Hey, howdy. How's it going, guys?
Basically, I binged all the episodes because I got spoiled of a big thing that was gonna happen in episode 5, and I was just gonna call Alex and talk about stuff like we usually do, but I was like, you know what? I have so much to say. Why don't we just turn this into a video? So here we are. If you guys like this podcast style type of video, please let me know. This is going to be like completely unscripted. We have a few ideas of what we're going to talk about like in a certain order, but besides that, we're just spitballing. So let's get started with a little we're going to do a tiny like non-spoiler review of the show. But after that, it's going to be spoiler territory. So if you haven't watched it, first and foremost, we definitely recommend that you guys go watch WandaVision. Alex, you watched it weekly, so you got the weird impressions at first that a lot of people got. I got to binge it all. What did you think when you were first watching?
Well, when it first came out, it was like the first 2 episodes in the 50s style that it was going for. And it just starts off right in the middle of the whole sitcom thing that they're doing. And to be honest, it's a little jarring at first because you're thinking to yourself, you know, those who have watched Infinity War, Endgame, yada, yada, like, you know, Vision's supposed to be dead. And, you know, when is this taking place? Is this after Far From Home, etc.? So it's really cool because you're thinking you have all these questions, right? But nothing's really answered. So I'd say for a starter, right, for a premiere, it's very strange. And it was very weird to get into, but as the episodes go along and things get introduced, you can't help but feel like you just can't wait for next week, which is something that is not very common nowadays with everything being bingeable and just here's 8 one-hour episodes. So that was really cool to, you know, experience.
Yeah, no, I'm feeling that right now. I just want the next episode out already. By the way, what day of the week do they come out, the new episodes?
They come out every Friday, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah. All right. I'll definitely say this. If you're a Marvel fan, especially an MCU fan, I would say, because a lot of Marvel fans don't like the MCU. I have mixed feelings overall about the MCU, but this is probably one of the most ambitious things they've done for a while.
For sure, yeah.
A lot of people that are close to me know that I was not a big fan of Endgame, so... And though I did like Far From Home, I do think this is probably the best thing they've put out since Infinity War. Not that it's better than Infinity War or at the same level of Infinity War, but it's like the best quality thing they've put out so far. I think one of the most highlight aspects of the show is probably like the break of formalism with TV, like how, for example, the use of color, like the use of camera angles, aspect ratios, they change all that stuff throughout the show, and it's meant to give you like this eerie feeling that there's something going wrong, but it's covered by this all like 50s energy, like, oh my god, ha, funny laugh track.
Yeah, exactly.
And it just produces this effect on the viewer that's so awesome, and I hadn't seen for a while. I'm a sucker for like experimental things, and this show definitely does some very experimental aspects when it comes to like TV shows. And honestly, if you've read the comics as well and you know which story they're kind of writing this around, you just get more excited by every turn of event that's coming. So I think this is probably enough for a non-spoiler review of WandaVision. We definitely both highly recommend this. So
Yes.
if you have Disney Plus and you want to keep up with the MCU, final thing, if you want to keep up with the MCU, you just need to watch this. I don't see any way that you'll be able to understand future films completely if you haven't watched WandaVision.
Exactly. It's with all the things that are being introduced now that they're adding into it, you know, no spoilers, but it's obvious that this is the starting ground for something much bigger.
Yeah, for Phase 4. And honestly, it's actually just more important than 99% of the movies. I think the only movie that actually has a bigger impact in the MCU is Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're an MCU fan, you got to check it out. It's going to be important. Okay, so if you haven't seen it yet, now is your time to get off the video, go binge it, and then come back when you're done, because now we're gonna start with the
Yeah, go do
spoilers. And man, okay, so starting with episode 1, dude, you told me that episode 1 was kind of meh, but when I watched it, I was already instantly hooked just because of like the creepy stuff that they were going for. Like for
Yeah.
example, when the guy was choking and the
Cool.
camera angles just start getting like really jarry and stuff, and the music stops, and I was just like, oh, this is gonna get cool. And then like the drone and everything, they did really good foreshadowing with sword unit.
Yeah.
And when I started losing my mind, I think it was episode 3 that I texted you, or
Mhm.
4.
He started spamming my WhatsApp.
Yeah. Was the snap. I thought at first, like, I totally forgot that the snap happened in the MCU. So when I saw everybody coming back from being dust, I actually
Yeah.
thought this was like a reverse version of the No More Mutants thing that happened in the comics with
Mhm.
Wanda. And I was like, oh, so this is how they're gonna make Spectrum have powers, because like Monica Rambeau, for those who read the comics, like she's Spectrum, she's a superhero, she has powers.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, then in the MCU she's a mutant and she stopped existing because Wanda just wiped her out of existence at some point. But now it was just Thanos. I'm a bit worried about how they're gonna do this mutant introduction. Like not in a bad way, but I'm like, wow, what are they gonna do for it?
There's so many possibilities for it moving forward. And man, I don't blame you for forgetting the snap. Like literally, it's been a year since the last Marvel thing. So you're kind of like, what is this dust shit? Like, what is going on?
My mind just instantly went to the comics. So it's like, oh, it's a WandaVision. It's about Wanda.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, of course.
And no, the audio that I sent you, I was like, yeah, my theory was right, and I'm just looking like a bozo now.
Yeah.
And I
don't
want
blame you.
I want to put this theory out there just in case it does end up being true. I was telling Alex about this earlier. Basically, my theory for the MCU is that the No More Mutants thing, quote unquote, already happened, and it's gonna be undone by the end of WandaVision.
It's a very astute observation on your part. We'll see if it comes to fruition in 3 weeks.
I think that's the only way that. Wait, is that the last episode next week?
It's gonna be 8. No, it's gonna be 8 episodes.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like that's the only way that you can introduce the mutants without having to go like through so many years of development in their story.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like,
or some parallel dimension bullshit. Like,
yeah. Which they're already going with a little bit. I don't know if Evan Peters being Quicksilver is meant to represent that the other X-Men are gonna come.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
It's just a quirky thing because they like Evan Peters in the X-Men movies.
I feel like it's a quirky thing, man. With the way that Dark Phoenix ended, just this absolute shit film. Like, I feel like they're just tying into what they know people love from the X-Men franchise. There's a reason there's a Quicksilver scene in every single X-Men movie,
except for Dark Phoenix, which is ass.
Yeah, literally. So,
man. Yeah, I don't mind. I just really want them to bring James McAvoy and what's his face, Michael Fassbender as Magneto and Xavier. That would be a waste to not bring, because I think I don't go fuck about Quicksilver, man. They were the highlights of that universe.
No, 100% agreed.
Like, and how are we feeling about an Old Man Logan thing?
Old Man Logan.
Yeah, because didn't Hugh Jackman say he'd consider coming back if
it was for MCU? Yeah.
If it was for MCU, but I don't know, the way Old Man Logan ended, it just feel weird to bring him back another time. That's why I felt so weird seeing him again in Apocalypse. Wasn't that after Old Man Logan?
No, Apocalypse was before. Dark Phoenix was before.
Okay, my bad. But still, It just feels so jarring to see him again after such a well done ending with him in Old Man Logan. Yeah, so
yeah, I really don't know where this is going, but I'm very, very, very excited. I was worried though, because in like episode 4, I believe, they named their parents. Like they mentioned Wanda and Pietro's parents.
Exactly.
And I was a little bit like, none of those people are named Eric. So is Magneto not their dad anymore?
I wonder if that's just something that like Hydra put into them. You know what I mean? Like
that's what I was thinking as well.
Yeah.
And you want to know why I thought that? I thought that specifically because right after they were telling that story, the agent guy was like, "Well, that's oversimplifying it a little bit."
Yeah, exactly. That it's so simple. But I know this is just a theory. You know, Twitter can spews out a lot of theories. But I have seen that the theory that in between each episode, almost like a commercial break, there is a commercial.
Dude, the commercials. Oh my god, yeah, the commercials. I was gonna talk to you about that. There's foreshadowing going on with that shit because every single commercial like item is named after something in the MCU, and it has
the latest one. Yeah, the latest one was paper towels called Lagos, which is where the beginning of Civil War takes place.
But it literally says Lagos for mistakes you didn't want to make, which is when she blows up all those people.
Exactly. But the theory that I'm referring to on Twitter was I had seen that people are saying that if you look at the commercials, it's the same two people in every single commercial. They're saying that those are her parents, or at least who we think her parents are that are named.
That would be really cool. I think I remember all the names for the commercials. So the first one was Stark, Forget the Past.
It's a toaster, yeah.
Yeah, Time for the Future. And then the second one was Strucker, which is for Baron Strucker from
the scientist,
from the scientist who did the experiments on them, and it's a watch. So that's also another relation with time
with a Hydra symbol on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Third one was Hydra Bath.
Okay.
I forgot what was the catchphrase for the Hydra Bath one, and then the fourth one was Lagos. I don't think there was one in episode 3 or 4.
All right. I mean, but there's got to be some relevance to that. It's not just it's got to be something that Wanda is keeping, subconsciously or it's got to be something. Like they're not just throwing in random toaster commercial for no reason.
Oh, dude, I just thought about it. Everything that tells their story. Dude, the commercials are telling their life. I just figured it out. Stark, the bomb that killed their parents.
Yeah, true.
Strucker, the guy who did experiments on them. Then they joined Hydra. Then there was Lagos, the explosion. It's telling their story, but through the commercials. Oh my god! I just noticed that.
All right. Okay, perfect. Yeah. We've cracked the case on on Discord here.
Yeah. Oh my god. No, man, but I am so dude. I was watching it. I was like, I haven't been excited for a Marvel thing since Infinity War. So that's a MCU thing, not a Marvel thing.
Yeah, so I have to admit. Yeah, I feel like that really has to do with just how often the stuff is coming out. Like now that we've had a big break and this is something that's really changing things up. If anything, COVID sucked, but I feel like this is the perfect timing for just everything. Now that we've had, just a perfect break from Marvel. Yeah.
Yeah, and also I was really happy about this. I felt really giddy about this because they mentioned at a point that Wanda was gonna kill Thanos by herself if he hadn't done
exactly.
Yeah. And I thought of you. Because I don't know if you guys saw this went trending on TikTok, but it happened a really long time ago. I asked Kevin Feige, the director of Marvel, directly. I was like, dude, who is the strongest Avenger? He said Wanda. She was about to kill Thanos, and then everyone was like, oh no, he's just that doesn't make sense. It's Thor or Captain Marvel because he's just saying this. He's just saying this to sell stuff. And I'm like, dude, there is literally canon confirmation now that she was gonna kill Thanos and that she is at least one of the strongest Avengers. So yeah, take that, you naysayers.
Assholes.
Yeah. No, man, I am just and what else? I really like that they're introducing the reality warping thing quicker now and better.
Yeah, exactly. She's not just telepathic girl. She is becoming Scarlet Witch now.
She's becoming Scarlet Witch, and I loved that so much because when they were just saying, oh yeah, she just has telekinesis and telepathy, and then you're kind of that's not what's happening. The things she's creating inside the show are real. You can tell. She's creating matter out of nothing, and I just thought it was awesome that they started introducing that. And what do you think is going to happen to Wanda's character? Do you think she's going to become a villain, or do you think they're going to go the House of M route?
Well, here's the thing. We already know it's confirmed that she's going to play a part in the new Doctor Strange movie, the Multiverse of Madness, or whatever it's called.
So is that going to be House of M, you think?
That's the thing. The show's not even over yet. We don't really know to what extent she's going to go with her powers and all this, but I don't know if she's going to become a villain. I feel like she's just having a little breakdown after
Yeah.
the events of Endgame, and you can't really blame her. And
I feel like people love her too much for Marvel to
No,
just turn her a villain.
I doubt they'd make her into a villain.
Yeah.
I guarantee there'll be something that at the end of it is like, oh, reality reset. There are mutants now. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I'm
And maybe not even just mutants. Maybe, bring Fantastic Four into the mix. We know that's going to be happening soon. So why not bring, the Baxter Building into the into the universe?
supposedly someone was saying the Baxter Building already exists in the MCU because apparently it appeared when Peter was swinging at the end of Far From Home back in New York.
All right, they're already setting that shit up.
Yeah, I'm glad at least because Fantastic Four wise, they don't need any big event to justify them existing. Like, because the Fantastic Four, they just happen to be in that cosmic storm.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless that radiation is caused by whatever Scarlet Witch does, because they did mention that it's causing a lot of radiation stuff, like her hex thing.
I mean, here's the thing. However they bring them in, whether it's comic accurate or not, I don't really care as long as the characters themselves are done well and cast well.
I need me some Doctor Doom, bro. Need that in the MCU.
Since the last Fantastic Four movie, we've needed a good, Doctor Doom in the mix. Otherwise, it's just it hurts after watching that shitty Fantastic Four movie.
I didn't watch that one. That is the one Marvel movie I have not touched.
That is the one Marvel movie I've fallen asleep in. That just shows how bad it was. I really don't fall asleep during movies, but that one put me to sleep.
Yeah, I haven't watched New Mutants either, and I don't know if I should because I don't know if it's going to be canon to the MCU or not. Because everybody said it was like hot garbage, so I'm concerned with it, and I'm really upset because I wanted it to be good so badly. Because like, I don't know if you guys know, but the guy who did how do you call it Sunspot went to our high school. Yeah, he went to our high school, and we were all so hyped. We're like, "Yo, Sunspot is from our school and shit," and it was just really upsetting to me.
No, and for a while we thought the movie wasn't even going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, and when it did happen, I was excited for it, but I was really sad to hear that it flopped. So I don't know if I should watch it. I kind of wish that they how do you call it had it be canon, but I don't think it's gonna be. Deadpool though.
Yes.
Deadpool, I want to see the transition. I feel like the transition is going to be hilarious.
I mean, yeah, we already know that Deadpool 3 is going to be canon, or
to the MCU.
To the MCU. So, you got to question to what extent are the other ones canon, yada, yada. But, Deadpool 2 set up time travel and all that. I wouldn't be surprised if they just said, oh, that's actually the Pym particle shit that he was using. So, he just comes from another reality.
Dude, if they brought Josh Brolin back as Cable, it would be so funny.
That would be funny. That would be very funny. Holy shit.
Yeah, because he literally calls him Thanos in Deadpool 2.
Yeah, exactly, he does, yeah.
Man, I just what else about I want to talk a little bit about Quicksilver. I honestly I laughed a little bit when they said they recasted him as recasted Pietro, and I wonder how Aaron what's his face, Aaron Johnson,
Peters.
Aaron Johnson, the original, the other Quicksilver.
All right,
it's Evan Peters is the one that came back, and Aaron Johnson is the original.
Oh, okay.
I wonder how that guy's feeling right now because I feel like Evan Peters is gonna make some mad bank out of this.
I was thinking to myself that as well. I was like, man, I feel bad for this dude. What happened to the other Quicksilver?
Yeah, dude missed on some money, bro.
To be in Age of Ultron and be such a cool superhero and then just be like, I'm gonna take a couple bullets. Peace.
Yeah. Nah. And when I heard Monica saying the thing about Ultron, I was like,
yes.
Oh, that's when the series started getting crazy to me.
It had been a while since Ultron had even really been mentioned, I feel like.
I think the last time was like this one throwaway comment by Tony at the beginning of Endgame.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, the suit of armor around the world.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see what they're gonna do with this recast, quote unquote. I will say though, the fact that her brother was coming back, I could kind of feel the whole episode because the whole episode, episode 5 is like, oh, I miss my brother. She's seeing how her family reacts to loss and all that, and then we see, the silver hair show up at the door, and I'm already, I'm already aware he's coming back. But then when you see that it's the guy from from X-Men, like, that was a twist to me. That I was not expecting whatsoever.
I knew it. I got spoiled, but man, I got shivers from the acting in the last episode, like especially from that. Even though he was like a really small character, but like that guy Norm going from like Norm and Agnes, like when Agnes broke character and she became like a 2020s person again, and she was like talking normally and casually how we would, and then Vision's like, what's that? And like then she goes back to being from the 90s, and Norm like having that breakdown and then going back to being from the 90s. I thought that was really good, or in their discussion as well.
And it's so instant as well. Vision literally touches him, and he's right back to. It was really well done.
It was. It's great. And speaking of Vision, bro, I got shivers in that episode that Wanda saw him as a dead corpse. Like again, like it was when Thanos removed his stone. I was like, wow, man, that was like, that shit's cool. And them explaining that Wanda literally like went and took his corpse.
Yeah, took his body. I mean, it's you got to be curious to think like what was SWORD doing with his body, all these experiments, like I wouldn't be surprised if there's something going on there.
And I wonder what it would be, because like the only thing that I could think of is like them trying to like recreate Ultron somehow based on like because the only reason Ultron didn't like stick around like as an idea was because it was just Tony and Hulk, and they have like somewhat bigger moral compasses than this like these shady organizations. So I wouldn't be surprised if some shit like Pimtron, like not literally Pimtron, or like an Ultron 2.0 came
inspired
back.
By at least for a Disney Plus series, if not a movie. I wouldn't I wouldn't be surprised by that. But I mean, we're looking way ahead now. I feel
we're
like
looking way too far ahead.
I feel like a good thing to talk about is the connection to the comics. So I know a synopsis worth of House of M, but I have read The Vision.
I read House of M if you want, so I can fill in the gaps for you.
No, I mean, I'm just saying, we each have a perspective on kind of what this show is based off of. So like The Vision, for the most part, what's taken from it is just the fact that it's in a suburban type of like location. But overall, The Vision focuses more on Vision trying to create his own family and deal with that, and how it ties into being a superhero and being human, essentially. And I don't know if that's really used in this show. You know what I mean? For the most part, it's just the suburban aspect. Vision, for the most part, there's there's gags about him being a robot, but for the most part, he just acts like a human. Like he has gags like, "Oh, I'm a robot. I know I don't forget anything." He
clearly has emotions. He clearly
he gets mad, he gets sad. It's weird.
So I don't think there's any amount of him that like doesn't act or behave like a human, and like he's like, "Oh, I wish. What is humanity?"
There's no I wish I was human.
And in the House of M, and it's really just the whole like thematic of it, of Wanda creating her own world,
because having a mind break type situation.
And it's literally it's the same setup as House of M. So House of M happens in the comics because Wanda lost her mind after Vision died, and she like created twins in her mind and everything. And I read House of M when I was like 15 or 16, so if I miss any tiny details, please forgive me. Do not flagellate me in the comments. But basically,
how dare you forget?
Everybody in the like the mutants, like X-Men, Magneto, the Avengers, everyone decide that they're gonna have to like euthanize Wanda because she's too dangerous in her mind broken state. And what happens is Pietro goes and tells Wanda what's gonna happen, and he tells her to use her powers to make a better world. So she makes a world where everyone's dreams in all of Marvel becomes reality. So like for example, Gwen Stacy never died. Peter has a family. Like Uncle Ben is alive. He's like a superstar.
Captain America dies.
No, Captain America was never frozen, so he never. He never lost their shit. But what breaks House of M is because Wolverine's dream is to remember everything from his life. because he forgot his
okay.
entire life. So he was the only one who remembered that this reality is fake.
Gotcha.
And basically he eventually like reminds everybody of the real world, and they stop Wanda and everything, because like in this reality, mutants are like basically like the superior race, and not in a like, oh, we're gonna enslave everyone else. It's like more like their royalty.
Yeah.
And in the end of the day, like everything gets reverted, no more humans happen, but it's super sad because like the people who helped stop Wanda remembered their lives in House of M. So Peter knows exactly how it feels to have a life where Gwen lived and Uncle Ben lived, and he had a kid and everything with her. Yeah, down awful. But honestly, I really just feel like the main aspect is the whole like pocket reality thing and the twins, and it happens because Vision died.
But that's the thing I really have to compliment the MCU on, is the fact that yes, they do draw inspiration from the comics, but
they don't
really
copy paste.
They don't copy paste. They really make it their own thing, and it's well done. It's not like a movie where they just decide to change something in it. You know, it's not like.
Yeah. I mean, the greatest
you don't
example is Thanos.
Yeah. Exactly. Like they took Infinity War, which is really literally like a college textbook's worth of information, and dumbed it down into what, an hour and a half, 2-hour movie. Like,
no, I think it was 2 hours and a half. Infinity War.
2.5 Infinity War, but still, like it's really impressive what they're able to do. And like I'm the first person to critique the MCU. When I walked out of Endgame as well as Infinity War, I was kind of like on the fence about certain things, especially Endgame. And prior to Infinity War, it was feeling kind of like superhero of the week with villain of the week.
Yep.
Yeah. Look, tragic backstory. Now they redeem themselves. Villain. Okay, happy ending. So it did get a little repetitive after a while, but I feel like now they're really coming into their own, especially following, the removal of Iron Man and Captain America and just characters that are so integral to the MCU's popularity, and yet they're still like trudging forward with, good content.
Yeah, like it really can't be it can't be overstated how much like this surprised me, like as a TV show, because when I heard of WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Is Hawkeye gonna get one as well?
He's gonna get one with Kate Bishop.
Yeah, so like when I heard all of these, I was like, I am not watching it. Like I was like, this is when I dropped the MCU. But honestly, if they keep this level of quality, I am most definitely willing to watch the others, especially because they're short episodes. They're like 30, 20 minutes.
Yeah, literally, like the credits are longer than half of the show. They're like 5-6 minutes long. Like they're really short snippets.
Yeah, like okay, I'm gonna be real though. I'm gonna be skeptical. I highly doubt the other two shows are gonna be this good.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's hard to get into because it's like, obviously they're not going to follow this format. Like I feel like Falcon and the Winter Soldier is going to be more like
Daredevil.
No, I mean more like Winter Soldier, the movie, like Captain America, Winter Soldier, or even like Civil War. It's going to be more in that vein, which is more like movie-esque. It's not going to be this weird sitcom where you're wondering what's going to happen next, and it's this mystery, and there's just so much going for it. I mean, shit, they came out and said that the She-Hulk show is going to be like a lawyer drama show, like Law and Order or some shit, which is like really out there, and you're curious to see what it's gonna be like. So,
I'm more interested on these like shows that are gonna be playing with the format and like playing to see what
not the things that follow it. Yeah, like you have stuff like Armor Wars coming out with like War Machine coming out, and you're just gonna be like, can they really hold a show of their own? These characters that are really just side pieces in the MCU, like
What I am excited about though is Moon Knight. That I am most definitely gonna watch.
Yes, 100%. Especially
now with WandaVision. No, dude, and
Yeah.
especially now with WandaVision, that they showed that they can pull off this trippy element thing and mess with the formalism. Dude, that is perfect territory for Moon Knight. So I'm very, very excited for that.
Because in a way, especially if I don't know which one you recommended I read. What year was it?
The 2016 run for Tom King.
Yeah, that's the thing is that comic is really not
a
Standard comic.
it's not a superhero comic. It's literally like a mental health type thing, like a guy trying to find himself. I literally think there's like 2 or 3 fights the whole run, and they're just like fist fights. There's no grappling hook. There's no, cool utility belts. It's
I feel like if they adapted that run, that could be a good intro run for Moon Knight, especially because like a lot of the run is just like, holy fuck, am I really Moon Knight, or was I like hallucinating all this shit all the time?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Like, is Khonshu real? Like, is this god real? Am I tripping? What is real? What isn't? Like, that is the one comic that actually, like, when there was a trippy sequence, I couldn't tell you if it was real or not.
Exactly.
I couldn't tell you if he was crazy or if like these things were real. Like, it was just, it makes you question as a reader what is going on, and that is something I love because WandaVision is also doing similar. So I have really high hopes for the Moon Knight show.
Yeah. Well, going back to WandaVision in terms of like wrapping it up, I really wonder where they're gonna take it. Is Vision gonna come back?
I don't think so. I think this is a wrap for Vision.
I mean, to be honest, it would inspire a lot in Wanda's character, and I feel like in terms of, I don't know, a character arc, if she needs another one, I don't know, because she kind of had one in Civil War, I'd say.
She did.
Yeah, so to give her another one, I'm not opposed, but then also, is it necessary, yada yada. But we know she'll be coming back for Multiverse of Madness, so we know that at least Wanda will survive this adventure.
Yeah, but I do feel like she has to, as a character, like Vision has to die because she has to learn to let go and like accept reality for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Unless what happens is she actually fucks up the multiverse by the end of WandaVision, and then Multiverse of Madness is this. Like, is the answer to it? Is the resolution?
Well, we know in terms of continuity, we know that it does take place before Far From Home, after Endgame. So it's I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, it takes place before Far From Home?
Yeah, it's been confirmed. I'm gonna assume that means that
the multiverse is fine then.
Yeah, because none of that really takes place in Far From Home.
Unless like the world has already been warped and they just don't know it because it's similar to a House of M scenario. Because in House of M, people don't know. And that would explain Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield showing up for the next movies.
Exactly, 100%. Yeah. I'm prepped for that, but that's a whole different conversation.
That's a whole different podcast. All right, man. I think we should wrap it up around here. Thank you guys for listening to the end. Thank you, Alex. You are more than welcome and invited for any other time that you want to be in the ApeCast. Love you, bro.
Yeah, of course. Looking forward to it. Thanks for having me on.
All right, guys. And until next time, please let me know in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe, yada, yada, yada. If you want to have more content like this, leave a comment and we'll make more ApeCasts and we'll just sit around and geek out about stuff we love. So anyways, I'll catch you guys next time. Fiction Ape out the gate.